Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you wherever you are in the world, depending on your time zone. How una do? I trust all is well. For the last time today, I'm gonna say Happy Independence, Jamaica. Ladies, today is
Oh,
Independence
Ah,
Day in Jamaica.
happy
And of
happy
independence.
course,
independence.
yes, of course, as a true Jamaican, I have to celebrate with my people. I
Mm.
want to welcome each and everyone, will take the time to join with us this evening, whether you're joining the live or the replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And as you join, please share with us where you are joining from. So it's another week and it's another opportunity with my beautiful business partners and friends, Blessing and Joanne. And we're diving into so much this evening, and I'm super excited for this conversation. Our conversation this evening is centered around a topic I believe speaks to all of us, regardless of where we are in life. And it's beyond the comfort zone, the mindset shift behind building something new. The truth is, whenever we decide to pursue something we've never done before, whether we're starting a business, changing careers, pursuing further education, or just chasing a dream, we're often required to confront something much deeper than the opportunities itself. We confront fears, we confront doubts, we confront the beliefs we carried for years about what's possible and what's not. The interesting thing about growth is that it really asks us to stay comfortable. And I'm sure, the ladies will agree. Instead, it invites us to think differently, to trust differently, and sometimes take a deeper step before we can see the entire path. So, tonight isn't just about sharing our business journey, it's about sharing our personal stories, what it looked like to move beyond our own personal comfort zone, the mindset shift we had to make, and the lessons we've learned through the process. So, our hope this evening is that you listen, you'll begin reflecting on your own journey, and perhaps you may be able to identify areas in your life that has been calling you to grow. Perhaps you've been watching us for months or years, probably, for Blessing and Joanne, who's been in this business a little bit longer than I have. So before we jump into the question, of course, if you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Avagay. I am an HR business partner. I'm in this business alongside my husband, Jordan, and we are Jamaicans residing in South Florida. And of course, we are proud digital business owners, and we are excited to come here weekly with our fellow business partners and share with you insight that can help you to make the next step that you've been wanting to take. So I'll have the ladies introduce themselves and then we jump into the question. So, Blessing, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers today?
Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, according to your time zone. My name is Blessing. I am a teacher and also an online digital business owner and mentor living and working in Japan. I am originally from Nigeria. It's so wonderful to be here again. Thank you for seeing you all. Okay,
Thank you,
finish.
Blessing. Joanne, go ahead.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching us. My name is Joanne. I'm a registered nurse by profession. I'm a business mentor and I'm a business coach. And I'm happy for you to be here listening. This is interesting. This is going to be nice. And if you're watching us for the first time, welcome, welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. As I said, as you join, please share with us in the comment where you are joining from. So before our question or first question, I'd like to share a little of my own story because I think it perfectly set the stage for tonight's discussion. For me, this business journey, and I say business journey, begins with my husband. The opportunity initially was shared with him, and he brought it to me as a husband should, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
most people, we didn't make an emotional decision. I want to say
Mm,
that we reviewed the information shared, we attended the coaching call, we asked the question, every question we thought of, and we received the answer the answers and or concerns were addressed. But after all of that, I'm not gonna say we, I'm gonna say I was still skeptical. Not because I didn't understand the opportunity, but because I understood the weight of the making a financial decision at that point in our lives, which is like 9 months ago. We weren't in a position where we could comfortably lose money. You know, some persons are able to jump in and, it works for them. And I've always been someone who takes my commitment serious. I'll say that out loud. When I decide to do something, I commit wholeheartedly because I genuinely want to succeed. So if I'm being completely honest, if the decision had rested solely on me,
Mm.
ah, I probably would have said, no, sir. I'm not ready yet. I need some more information. I don't know if I want to say that I'm a procrastinator, but I'm one of the persons who have to pull myself out of assessing and reassessing and double assessing, right? I truly I've never been someone who jumps into opportunities without carefully evaluating them. But while I was wrestling with that fear, I was also wrestling with another reality. Our lives
Mm.
were good, we both have stable careers, we weren't struggling, and deep down I knew there was more. I wanted more freedom, more flexibility,
Mm.
more time, more opportunities. I've always wanted to do a European tour, and probably that was one of my motivations as well. More experiences with my children, especially my younger one, who I think needs mommy a little bit more, right?
Mm.
I realized that if we truly wanted a different future, we would have to make some different decisions. So we prayed, we sought wisdom, and ultimately we chose to take a leap of faith. We took the decision, all right, we're gonna take this on and we're gonna do the best we can at it. Not because we had no fears, because I told you how skeptical I was, but because our vision became greater than our fear. And that
Mm.
brings me to our first question, which I will relate to Blessing. And
Mm.
Blessing, I'd like for you to share with us. Can you take us back to your own moment? You know,
Mm.
um, what fears or doubts did you wrestle with before saying yes to building something new or building this business? And what ultimately gave you the courage to move forward?
Oh, thank you so much, Avake, for that question. For me, I think the fear I had was what will people say? And being that the kind of job I had, I was so scared of, what if my colleagues see me online? Maybe one day they are scrolling and they just see a post and it's me they are seeing there. And I had a lot. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear of, I've not done business before. And then it's being an online digital business, I overthought things because the truth is that I didn't know how to go about it. And I just thought it was this kind of business that when you join, you just
Mm-hmm.
start doing it yourself. So I never knew that there were trainings, there were, coaches and mentors and all of that to guide you. But when I now went deep into the business itself, and I noticed that, oh, there were trainings, step by step video trainings. There were mentors. There were even community members that when you need help and you feel like, oh, this person has the kind of help I need, you meet the person and the person explains and, puts you through. So when I
Mm-hmm.
found that, I was like, okay. And then the thing is that the main reason why I even decided to actually create options for myself was that
Mm-hmm.
the way I was living my life as an immigrant, I didn't really like it. Because the truth is that when I came to Japan, I believed that, oh, I was going to work hard enough. And when I work hard enough, eventually I will earn and everything will fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
As at that time, yes, I felt that my job was stable because then, there was no inflation unlike now. So I felt my job was stable. So I was working and I was grateful for it. But as years went by, I started noticing that I was making a living, but I wasn't designing my life because why? it was just a routine. So every week it was the same thing. I will wake up early. I will go to
Mm,
work. I will come back home exhausted. I will still prepare for the next day, and I
mm,
repeated this year in, year out. And the truth is that it got to a point where I wasn't feeling happy anymore. Why? Because I wasn't able to travel when I want to,
mm. Okay.
you know. I wasn't able to get time off when I want to. It was restricting me from traveling, so it means that I couldn't go and see my mom when it was important, when it was really important for me, especially even when she was celebrating her birthday. I couldn't go, and it was a very huge milestone. But it was as if my money was working for me. I didn't have time. So what was most important to me was time freedom. It wasn't even about earning, because I wouldn't lie that I'm not earning. Yes, I'm earning, but you know, I was earning at the expense of my time.
Mm,
Because like here in Japan, I don't know about other countries, but here in Japan, when you're working, out of 365 days, you only have 10 days of work leave.
mm,
10 days of work leave because you work, let's say example, you work Monday to Friday, or you work uh, Saturday to Thursday, or whatever it is, however you work. So you have only 5 days a week, and then the other 2 days is your rest day, right? So altogether,
mhm,
it makes 2 weeks. That is what you have as your leave in 365 days. And as immigrant living here in Japan, traveling back home takes about 24 hours plus. So if you're going to take a flight that you're going to have layovers, it's
mhm.
about, so before getting to your family compound, is about 48 hours. So
Right.
imagine out of 10 days, how
Mm.
many days will you be on air to and from?
Four.
How many
Four.
how many days how many days will you spend with your family? And remember, as immigrants, when you go home, you have a lot of things you want to do,
Mhm,
right? So it means that you don't have time. So at the end of the day, it's just as if I'm working, and I don't have time for myself. I don't have time to live life.
right.
So my life is just centered on work, work, work. And for me, I was growing older, right? I wanted a slow morning. I didn't want to
Mm,
feel guilty of waking up and going to work late and all of that. I just wanted, like, when I want to wake up, I just wake up at the time I want, not wait setting an alarm before I go to bed. Then I have to wake up this time. I have to prep my lunch. I have to eat breakfast and then go to work. I didn't want that. I didn't want a
mhm.
job to decide my time. I didn't want a job to decide my schedule. And then I started thinking that, what else will I do? What will I do that will not take my time? What else will I do that will, even if I'm not working, is going to generate income for me? Because remember, as immigrants, let's not lie to ourselves. Even as we are working, we are thinking about our family back home. We are
Yes.
thinking about emergencies. We are thinking about,
Yes.
rising cost of living. If you're paying mortgage, you're thinking about meeting up with your mortgage. We are
Mhm.
also thinking about future. If you're single, you're thinking about marriage. You're thinking about a lot of things that we think about.
Yes.
And during this time, it just dawned on me that, if my salary stops tomorrow, then it means I don't have anything that I've built for myself aside from the money I earn from my 9 to 5. And that
Mhm,
awakening really disturbed me for a very long time. And, being an introvert and, running this online digital business is like, I don't know what I would say. It's like a win-win thing, because mine was kind of good because I had that drive. I'm a kind of person, like what Abage was saying before, that when she wants to do things, she puts in her all. I am that kind of person. If I want to do something, even if you're with me, you'll be like, it's not this same thing that all of us are doing. Why is your own different? I will put in my time, I will put in my energy, I will put in my mind, like everything is in that thing I'm doing. But
yes.
then I'm like, because the reason is that I told myself, I said, if I can put in my all to my 9 to 5 and then be
Mhm.
waiting for my employer to pay me every month, why won't I put in my all to build something on the side? And
That's
the truth
right.
is that for me, I've always been a person that I don't believe in get rich quick scheme. I don't believe in that. Anything I see that will tell me, oh, if you start it today, tomorrow you start getting 1 million, I will run away, because I know it's not real, you know.
Mhm,
And then when I saw this business model and everything, I was like, okay, since it's something I can do in the pocket of my time, since it's something I can do, that
mhm.
it will not, because me, I don't want stress. I'm already stressed. Living in Japan alone is stress. I'm sorry to say, anybody who is watching me who lives in Japan knows what I'm talking about. Living in Japan alone is stress. adding working that you're working is stress. So I didn't
Mm.
want any other thing that would stress me again aside from the one I'm facing. So the business model really helped me because in the pocket of my times, I'm able to do things I want to do. And then I it also helped me in a way that we had trainings, we had things we are supposed to do. And in our community, we always had challenges where you have, so it's not as if you're looking for what to do. You already have schedule of what you're going to do. You already
Right.
have things you would like to talk on, or information you'd like to share, or challenges you want to do with your group mates. So we had a lot of things that kept us busy. And that really helped me a whole lot because the truth is that I am building my career and I am still building something on the side, and I know that it is passive. And the
Yeah.
most thing that interested me about the business is that it was something that I could pass on to the next generation. And I
Right.
knew that the only way for me to actually build that business was online. So it means that I had to step outside of my comfort zone. And I knew that
Mhm.
sincerely that my comfort zone was not doing anything for me anymore because I know,
Mhm.
oh, I'm an introvert, oh, I'm shy, oh, what will I say? Oh, I felt like I see other people who do I see other people who do regular content online and they're earning from it. And every day you see me scrolling, watching and laughing. And I'm like, if these people are able to do these things in the comfort of their home, why
Why not
wouldn't
me?
I? Why won't I do it?
Yes.
And
Why
mine,
not
and
me?
mine, and mine is something that even if social media phases away, my business remains because it's been
Mhm.
there for over 5 decades running, right? So even if there's no social media, this business
Mhm.
still remains. And I told myself, if this is what it is, why won't I just continue doing it and build it alongside my 9 to 5? And
Yeah.
that really helped me a whole lot because it's really opened my eyes to a lot of things and a lot of how will I say, a lot of gifts I had on the inside I never knew I had.
Mhm.
I didn't see myself doing those things. And looking back today, saying yes wasn't about starting the business. It was about refusing to let one employer and one income or one timetable have the final say over my life. And I
Yes.
think that is something many immigrants can relate to because we left our home country searching for opportunity. But sometimes the next step isn't moving to another place. It is expanding the way we think about what is possible.
That's
And
correct.
one lesson that I will never forget is that the biggest leap wasn't stepping into this business. The
Mm.
biggest leap for me was believing that my future didn't have to limit the path that I started on. So thank you so much, Abagi.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your one of the things I think you highlighted is the fact that your desire for freedom is what dispelled the fears and doubts you had. And at the end of the day, we have to be able to identify, you know, what it is that we need and use that as our drive and our motivation. One of the things I have learned throughout this journey is that building something new isn't just about learning a new business. It's about becoming a different version of yourself. Sometimes the greatest transformation isn't it external, it's actually internal. Growth, I believe, requires us to challenge beliefs we've carried for years. So I'd like to answer the next question from my own perspective. And the question is, as you started this journey, what was the biggest internal shift you had to make? Was there a moment when you realized that building something new required you to become a different version of yourself? And I laugh because I truly love this question because I didn't think the biggest challenge was learning a new business. I think I have the ability to learn, and I've learned a lot of things that are probably a little bit harder, in my life. I believe the biggest challenge was unlearning parts of myself. And I want for our viewers and even you ladies to truly look at that. Sometimes it's not our ability to learn. I spoke in another, forum that there are times when we have to unlearn and relearn. So my biggest challenge, or one of my biggest challenge, was truly unlearning parts of myself. For the most of my adult life, I believe that security came from having a stable job.
Mm.
I worked hard in school. I built my career in human resources, and like many people, I believe that if I work diligently, earn promotions, and remain committed, everything else would naturally fall in place. I remember as a kid, my mom used to work with this lady. She was a lawyer, and at the time I was probably in primary school. We call it in Jamaica. I think primary is like elementary here in the
Mm.
US, and I'm not sure what the system is like for you ladies from where you're
In
from or where
Africa,
you're
in
current.
Africa, it's primary school too. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I remember there was this, my mom used to work with this lady. She was a lawyer. And I was like, I felt like that's what I want. Not that I wanted to be a lawyer, but the life I saw her living, I was like, that's what I want to live. I want to get this when I get to this age. I want to get this. And the truth is, there's absolutely nothing wrong, with having the career. I still have mine, right? And I truly love it. But eventually I realized that I had to challenge the way I had been thinking. A, a job provides an income, and we can agree, right? But
Yeah.
one of the things we can say is that, or one of the things I've come to realize, it doesn't always provide options. And that realization changed everything for me. I started to asking myself different questions. What if security isn't found in one source of income? What if true security comes from having multiple streams of income? And then, having starting to assess that, I'm like, okay, what are my options? Some people would say you go into real estate, you start a brick and mortar, you start selling stuff, whatever it is. And for me personally, honestly, that wasn't truly an easy mindset shift, because it required me to question the beliefs that had guided my decisions forever, for all my life. And there was another realization that it even changed me more. I realized that fear often disguise itself as wisdom. There are so
Mm.
many people that I would have spoken to over even my time being in this business, who have a genuine need, have a genuine desire, ask questions, but at some point in time, along the way, along the journey, they're like, oh Lord, they allow fear to cripple them. We tell ourselves that we are being careful, we are waiting for the right time, or no, give me a little bit more time, I'm gonna sleep on it, I'm gonna think about it, I'm gonna speak to my spouse. And we create all sorts of excuses. Or probably some may say, I want more information. And guess what? The truth is, I can understand the need for that. But what I
Mm.
will say is that sometimes those questions or those excuses is just a simple, sophisticated way of protecting ourselves from discomfort. Would you agree,
Mm.
ladies?
Yes, that's true.
Sometimes we have to ask ourselves some difficult questions. Am I making this decision because it's the wisest choice, or
Mm.
because remaining where I am simply feels familiar? Some of us, we've lived on familiar streets, and we have no intention of changing our address. The truth is,
Mm.
growth has taught me that every new level of life requires a new level of thinking. And I'm sure if each of us was supposed to assess our, where we've been and how we have grown, you've recognized at some point in time you had to elevate your thinking. You have to change your thinking. The truth is, the person who wants greater freedom cannot always think like the person who values certainty. If you want something extraordinary or some extraordinary result, you cannot be making ordinary decisions, and that's just the plain truth. For me, the greatest transformation wasn't learning the business, as I said earlier. It was becoming someone who could, just hold the two values, the two ideas at the same time. I value stability, but I can pursue greater freedom. I can be cautious, and be courageous at the same time. I can acknowledge fear without allowing fear to make my decisions. And I've learned that, opportunities don't just change our circumstances. Sometimes they reveal our identities. And that is very, very interesting. And, I would say that sometimes before God changes our situation, He has to change our mindset, our
Mm.
way of thinking. So as we really, really, really sit and allow this to marinate, what about thinking about changing our mind, shifting our way of thinking? That is something I'll definitely allow to rest and marinate in our viewers. As I said, as you come on, please share with us where you are joining from. There is a quote that I saw that says, every decision has a cost. We spend so much time talking about the risk of taking action, but we
Mm.
rarely talk about the risk of not doing nothing. True or false?
True.
We oftentimes talk about the risk that comes with action, but what about the risk of doing nothing at all?
Mm.
Sometimes discomfort quietly, becomes the greatest obstacle in our life, the life that we're actually praying for. And that leads me to my third question, for which Coach Joanne will respond. And it's, Coach Joanne, looking back, if you had allowed fear or uncertainty to stop you from starting, where do you think your life will be today? And because you chose to take that leap, what has been your greatest transformation that you have experienced, not just financially, but personally and for your family?
Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Ava. There's no other way of answering this question apart from speaking from experience and personalizing it. Um, I'm in Australia. I've been here maybe 12 years now, and I've been a traditional business owner for 18 years.
Mhm.
And in the 18 years, I was I'm an introvert. I'm shy, and I'm proud of that. I'm not gonna hide that away from me. That's who I am.
Okay.
I can do everything you want me to do as long as I'm in the background. But if put me at the forefront, there's a problem. And so for 16 years, I ran businesses from the background.
Okay.
And it looked okay. It looked like that's how I knew how to do things. Because I'm an introvert, I said to myself, this is my comfort zone, this is all I can do. And so I did that. So I came to Australia and I'm still doing my background things properly. Then I got here and I realized I'm an immigrant, I'm alone, I have bills to pay,
Mm-hmm.
gotta work night shift. And I was comfortable with that. And every place where I worked, my name was always there for that, extra shift. Call me.
Mm-hmm.
Extra shift, I'll show up. And so I lived that life for close to 10 years.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my comfort. I knew it, I understood it, I was okay with it. Bills had to be paid. Like Blessing said, you cannot just stay here. In fact, people in Africa are entitled. They have that mindset of entitlement to what we do while we're in the diaspora. And so
Mm.
most of us, we don't even know how to separate that. So you find yourself in a cycle of you're working hard, you're
Mm-hmm.
sending money back home, you're paying bills, and that's the life that you know. And it
Mm.
was okay. But the cost, I had no time, I had no friendship, because the only friendships that I could keep were those friendships that had a similar work cycle as me, which is almost
Mm-hmm.
impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it the income was good, and God knows I really love my nursing career. But the cost of staying in that cycle,
Mm-hmm.
it took away any family time that I had. Say if you called me and say, "Oh, Joanne, can you come, like today, I'm going for a funeral. That's a luxury I couldn't afford before. I
Mm.
could I'm sorry to even say it like that, but because I couldn't just step away. A day
Mm.
like this, I would have come off night shift. I'm too exhausted. I've done 4 nights already. I'm tired, but I need to go again. So I can't afford to step away and say, I'm going for 2 hours to attend a funeral. I would say,
Mm.
I'll pray for this family or I'll contribute to that, but never really be present.
Mm.
Now, is it the absolute lifestyle that we were dreaming of when we left home? It wasn't for me. It wasn't at
Mhm.
all. So that cost, you know, um, what most people fear, what I also feared for myself was, oh, what if people see me online? What if I change? What if this? What if that? But if I'd stayed in the same cycle, for one, I would still be doing my traditional businesses from the background. I've since come out to the front, and it's funny. I have about 30 employees, and some of them had never really seen me before. Some of them
Wow.
had did not even know who I was. Yeah, they could hear that. Yeah, 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 our boss is this and this, but they could never see me at the front. But I've since come out and I'm addressing things on the front as I should.
Mhm.
The second thing that has changed for me, my confidence. It's Friday morning, I'm online. That's a big deal for me. Anyone who
Of
knows me knows.
course.
In fact, somebody said asked me this week to do a live with them, and I'm like, you know that lives are not my thing, and that was the response I gave them. But I'm here, and this showing up has given me so much, much more. The other
Mm.
thing that has been for me, I've become more disciplined. I'm
Mhm.
more willing to try new things.
Right.
Yeah, I might require a little gentle push, but I'm willing to try. And that's something that, didn't come easy for me.
Mm.
All along, while in Australia, all I thought about was I need to send money home to cover this and that. I need to pay this bill here and there. I didn't have the vision to think far ahead.
Mm.
Because you know what? It was a cycle. Next
Mhm.
shift, next shift, next shift, next shift. I didn't have the mental capacity to settle down and think, okay, Joanne, what are you doing for your future? How are
Mm.
you planning retirement? What does it look like? And this business gave me the opportunity to think long term. Since starting the business 2 years ago, I have one job. One job. And in the event, Ava is HR, so she's gonna understand what I mean. In the event that something comes up in my family that needs to be sorted,
Mhm.
my family comes first. I never had that luxury before. I
Mm.
never had that luxury of saying it always had to be, oh, I gotta go to work. I can't miss the shift. I have to show up.
Mhm.
Now I create the time in the event that, something pops up, needs to be done. Sorry, I can't show up to work, you know? And I will call and say, instead of saying I'm calling in sick, no, 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 no. Sorry, I can't come in today. And up until 2 years ago when I started this business, my life used to be I have to show up. Now, no, no, no. I need to live my life. And that is the greatest gift this business has given me. The opportunity to breathe, the opportunity to think, the opportunity to travel. I've traveled more in these 2 years than I had ever traveled in the 10 years of no business, no side hustle. And for me, that is bigger. And looking back, I'm truly grateful to God who gave me this opportunity. And I'm one of those skeptics. I saw the opportunity 2 years earlier, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. I watched on the fence, but in the meantime, I was crumbling. I was
Mm.
doing extra shifts. I was exhausted all the time. I was, I had no life. No life. I remember one of my girlfriends, she had her 40th and I couldn't show up.
Mm.
I couldn't show up. And I remember what she said. She said, Joan, there is a life outside these hospital walls. And I
Mm.
didn't get it until I found this business. So, more than anything, for me, I've grown, I've learned, and I have been able to live and breathe again.
Wow, wow, wow. I have to say, wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Joanne. Like you, there are so many out there who are craving the same things. They want, that freedom to breathe a bit. And they've been watching. And I know you've been watching. I'm speaking to the audience now. I know you've been watching. You've been on the fence. And for like many people, they stay on the fence a little bit, but there comes a time when you're gonna have to truly, truly make that step. You've heard our experiences, we've shared them week after week, and you have seen, how much we have grown. Joanne spoke about coming to the front, and I'm so proud of her. I have to give her a clap. Give her a clap too, blessing.
My shoulder is high. My shoulder is high.
Yes, yes, she's come to the front of the class, and we are super, super happy and grateful. And all of this is made possible. I think I was always someone a little reserved, but will come if I need to. But now I'm a perfect chatterbox. I just be
Mm.
talking, 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 and all of this confidence, came from just having to put myself out there and being a part of this business. So we have so much, there's so much we would have garnered, we would have gained from being a part of this business. So as we begin to wrap up, tonight, I want to truly speak to directly the persons who are watching. Maybe you've been watching us for however long. How long have you been watching? Ask yourself. You've been
Mm.
watching, you've been seeking options. It may be months, it may be years. Maybe you've been feeling until waiting rather until you feel ready, or you're waiting for the fear to disappear. My final response from the panel to you is this question, and I want to ask you, ladies, and I just want you to just give them a quick, response to this question. If and I'll throw it to both of you. If someone who is watching this evening has been thinking about starting this business. They've been watching us. They've been watching you for months, years, however long, and they keep waiting for the perfect time. What would you tell them based on your own journey? What lessons do you wish someone had known before you started? Who wants to take it? Joanne, you can go. I'll start with you.
Thank you, Avage. I want to ask our audience, is there a perfect time to have a baby? Literally, no. Well, it's the same thing. Starting a business, there's no perfect time. There
Not
is
at
no
all.
opportune moment. You see an opportunity, take it up. Because we are not promised tomorrow.
Not
We
at all.
don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. And if you are a nurse like me, you know that you're only as good as your health. If your health can stand in the hospital and look after other people, absolutely, you still have a job, you still have a career. But as soon as your health starts, oh, something's not right here, then there's nothing. The other thing is, you're gonna tell me I'm not confident enough. I don't know how you guys do this. Oh, I am not confident enough. God knows I have to, you know, talk myself into doing things. But confidence comes along the way. And
Mhm.
until you start the journey, you won't know.
Yes.
So if you're watching us on the fence, stop watching. Take the leap of faith. What have you got to lose anyway? You will find out if this is something you can do or not do. Thank you, Avake.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joanne. Blessing.
Oh, thank you so much, Abigail. Like what Joanne said, there's no perfect time to anything. any of us you saw here, we didn't start when it was perfect. Even for me, when I started the first time, like I always share my story. When I started the first time, I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to buy a new phone, change my background, do this and do that. But at the end of the day, with the training and the mentors and coaches we had, they had to let me know that it wasn't like that. Start with what you have. Start from where
Mm-hmm.
you are. So the truth
Right.
is that you would say, "Oh, I want to learn how to speak." Nobody learned how to speak. It was through applying. So
Yes.
with what we did, that we watched the training, we applied, we kept on replicating. That is what you see here every day. So the
Mm-hmm.
truth is that if you wait for the perfect time, it will not arrive. And the truth is that if you're waiting to figure everything out, my dear, you cannot figure everything out. You have to start first. Because the truth is that I
Mm-hmm.
had to start before, and I realized that, oh, staying the same was becoming more expensive than trying something new. Because the truth is that when you start trying, immediately you start trying, you put yourself you put yourself in the know to say, okay, I want to do this and I want to try it out. You will see that it is even easier than when you were overthinking and saying, "Oh, I cannot do it, I cannot do it." You find that it's very easy because why, you will have people who are going to guide you. You're going to have team members, you're going to have business
Right.
community members who are going to help you and hold you in the hand and do the same thing with you. Because the truth is that your future would not change because you waited. It's going to
No.
change when you decide to grow. So we are here every day coming to tell you, oh, there's another way to create an income source. Be curious, ask us questions, learn.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is that you don't have to know everything to take the first step. Just start. Just ask questions and start. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. You know, sometimes the greatest gift we can give someone isn't a roadmap. It's a reassurance that they don't have everything figured out before taking the first step. You both said it. There's no perfect time. There is no perfect time. So why not start now? What about now? So as we come to the end of, tonight's conversation, I hope one message has resonated with you. Stepping beyond your comfort zone isn't about eliminating fear. It's
Mm,
about refusing to let fear determine your future. Each of us shared our different stories tonight, but there was one common thread. None of us began because everything was certain and all together. And we had things in the background that propelled us in wanting more. And I'm sure that you have more than enough reasons to want more. You have more than enough reasons, to push yourself. We began because we realized that the future we desire required a different version of ourselves. I did tell you one of the things I had to first confront or address was my mindset, the way I saw things, and the fact that I was doing things however long before in a way that will not take me into the next level. You will need a vision that is willing to grow. You have to be willing to learn, willing to trust others, willing to be a part of a community, willing to take a step even when you don't see the entire staircase. We hear that ever so often, but it is true. Sometimes you haven't seen the full path, but you have to be willing to make that first step. So whatever something new, whether it be business or whatever it is, going back to school, whatever it is looks like for you this evening, remember this: don't let comfort become your greatest obstacle to your calling. Let me repeat that. Do not, and I repeat, do not allow comfort to become your greatest obstacle to your calling. Take time to learn, ask questions. Blessing encourage you to do that. Seek wise counsel. And I'm sure the ladies will agree with me. Pray. The good step the steps of a good man is ordered by the Almighty. Reflect
mm,
on the information that is shared. And when you've done your due diligence, have the courage to move. Make that step. Yes, because the life you are praying for however long may very well begin with a decision you have been postponing. Thank you so much for joining us for another week of our conversation. It's always a privilege, it's always a blessing. We're always excited to come and share with you. If that which we've said resonated with you in any way, you've been watching us, I know you've been watching us, reach out. We'll be happy to share with you. We'll be happy to guide you. We'll be happy to direct you if there is a need. Send us a DM, make a comment. We will be happy to share with you. Thank you for being with us another evening, as I said earlier. Ladies, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure coming on and sharing with you both. Guess what? We will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.